are going to be doing our review. So, let's start with the positives, because there are a few. So, this kiddie coaster, I don't count it as a credit, but it is not a ride to skip. So, if you look at those trains, those are single position lap bars, and there is no seat divider. So you actually get some really good laterals on that helix right there. Like, no joke, we're looking at perhaps the best ride that's open right now. And yeah, that gets us into the negatives. Well, not the best ride that's open right now. Maybe that's being too harsh, because to be fair, Wild Thing actually is pretty good for a relocated aero loop screw. Like that ride actually is not bad at all. But is it worth $50, which was a discounted ticket from the Tickets at Work place that I have access to through being an ACE member? Was it worth the cost to get in here of what it was? That was already a discounted ticket, and I didn't pay for parking because I biked here, as you saw in my first video that was a rant about certain things with this place. Absolutely not. Like, so I'm just gonna say, we're not just talking about, hey, there's the horrible communication as far as what's the bike policy. When we're talking about a region where people biking places is pretty common, so it's not just, hey, we have employees who don't know the bike policy and we'll tell people to park the bike there in one place, and then we will randomly have some supervisor approach them and say, oh, you have to move the bike. Like, I mean, that's something that is really bad on its own. But also, I mean, it's not like I could have come on a different day for it, but Timberhawk's fucking closed. I'm trying not to curse too much, but the one ride that made me say, yes, this park is worth going to, Timberhawk. It was the ride that made me say, yes, this is a park worth going to. I'm only going to drive a couple hours tonight rather than spend a couple nights in Portland so that I can do more exploring there. Rather than do something like that, we see a ride that's closed. There's no mention of it on the website. So, say if you're someone who's planning a big theme park trip and you're like, hey, I have flexible dates of when I can do my trip, and I think I'm gonna go to Wild Waves on this day because it's convenient and it's flexible what day I can do it, and then it happens that your star attraction is fucking closed. Like, that is beyond unacceptable that something like that would be the case. Now, I will say I did get the Klondike Gold Rusher credit that gives a lot of enthusiasts trouble. I did get that credit, and I thought it was pretty lame. Honestly, I thought the kiddie coaster gave a lot better laterals than a Wild Mouse designed for laterals. Because, I mean, I would put that kiddie coaster above Klondike Gold Rusher, because single position lap bar, no seat divider, you get a ton of good laterals on that thing. Like I'm being 100% serious that for a kiddie coaster, that ride actually, for a kiddie, like that kiddie coaster, since it is a powered coaster through the whole course, I don't count it as a coaster credit, but and it doesn't rely on gravity, but it really is pretty good. But I mean, I guess they thought, oh, people aren't going to care because people who come here for the water park. There's no chance that there's going to be a coaster enthusiast who happens to be passing through who's in the process of relocating for their next contract, which is what I'm doing. And I might have made a different decision if I would have known that Timberhawk was going to be closed, because that's the one ride here that is not a clone. That's the one ride here that actually looks like it could be solid. Like look at this. This looks like it could be a solid ride looking at it. But nope. So yeah, I'm very upset about Timberhawk being closed. I might have made a different decision for what sites I would want to see if I would have known that Timberhawk was not going to be open, because Timberhawk is the reason I chose to stop at Wild Waves mostly. So yeah, I'm pretty upset about that. Like just very upset about that. And it seems their ability to communicate with people, it could use some work. It really could. So, like, I mean, yeah, don't love this park, in all honesty. I know that I haven't heard many coaster enthusiasts say great things about Wild Waves, but I thought that I was like, hey, I'll come ride the rides, I'll make the stop on my way. And like, I mean, the fact that Klondike Gold Rush is open and it's a walk-on, like, I mean, I imagine they're doing that because, like, for any little bit of credit, I imagine they're doing that because maybe they know that, hey, we have to do maintenance on Timberhawk. We know that people are going to be very upset if they came here for coasters and it's closed. Like, that might be an actual thing that was a conversation had behind the scenes, in which case, yeah, credit for opening Klondike Gold Rush to make it so that people like me aren't overly pissed off about the fact that we don't get to ride as many coasters. Oh, look at this. Talk about Urbex and coasters. We've got the site of their Larson Looper here. So, what's up, everyone? It's Willette with Urbex and Coasters, and we are at an abandoned flat ride. This is a Larson Superloop here at Wild Waves. I had to. So as you can see, the foundations are still there. You've got a lot of the queue still here, pointing out how I could practically do an Urbex video here. And look, you can just walk right in. This is where the ride would have been. You can see the concrete platforms here. They just covered up by putting planters on it. You know, this kind of is fun to be doing mock Urbex here at Wild Waves. You can see where they would have cut the ride off of the footer. You can see the utility lines for the ride. You can see it's all still here. But yeah, it's like, the fact that probably the most fun I'm gonna have at Wild Waves here is doing mock urbex. Like, I mean, that speaks volumes about this park. It really does. Like, I mean, even if I saw a food stand that had something that looked like it could be good, I'm probably not going to get anything here because I don't want to give this park any more money. I mean, I guess I could think about it as if I paid, say, 20 bucks for admission and 20 bucks for parking, I probably would be thinking about it as the $20 ticket price rather than the over 50. But, so like, I mean, I guess the value isn't as bad as I'm thinking it is, but like, I mean, that's based off of the assumption that you're gonna pay for parking that price. So like, I mean, it's because I cheated the system that by biking here that I didn't spend way too much money to ride a relocated Aero Loop screw and frankly a lame Wild Mouse without many laterals and a kiddie coaster from the same manufacturer, a kiddie coaster because it's not a coaster, it's a flat ride. And yeah, so that's going to be my review of Wild Waves here. I'm going to ride this little S&S shot tower because